Welcome to 5 Minutes in the Word, a daily devotional in the Word of God.
Logan, I love Paul's writings to Timothy and Titus, for that matter, the two preachers, maybe because I've spent so many years preaching, I don't know, but he gets to a section that has a lot of controversy surrounding it. It's in 1 Timothy chapter 2, beginning at verse 8, where he says, I desire therefore that the men pray everywhere, lifting up holy hands without wrath and doubting. So the word men there literally is the word for men, the male of the species. Yeah. And when he talks about it, he's obviously talking about everywhere. That's pretty public. We're not really zeroed in on at home or in private like Jesus talks about in the closet. This is in public. My inclination is to believe he's talking about worship there. So he goes on and says, in like manner also that the women adorn themselves in modest apparel with propriety and moderation, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly clothing, but which is proper for women professing godliness with good works. So women, again, specifically the female of the species, and notice his emphasis there is that they be dressed in literally respectable.
That's what the English Standard Version says, in respectable apparel.
Oh, that's neat. Okay, yeah. Well, good. I got it right. So, respectable apparel, which would, and that applies in so many ways. We use the word modest, and we're usually talking about, well, how low is the neckline? How high is the skirt? Mm-hmm. That's not all there is to that. I mean, I've lived long enough to see a period of time where women and men wear clothing that's so tight that they just as well not have any clothing on. Yeah. Because you can see everything, and so that's not very respectable. And unfortunately, in a worship setting, and he goes on and talks about that, he's telling her, don't dress so as to call attention to yourself. Gaudy, flashy jewelry and all this stuff. Yeah, don't do that. Instead, let your life be, as it were, an example of a godly life, of a godlike life. And the way to do that is with good works. Then he says, let a woman learn in silence with all submission. The American Standard Version says quietness, by the way, not silence. Yeah. And I think that's the idea. She's not supposed to be boisterous or take charge in a worship service or a Bible class. And then he says, I do not permit a woman to teach or to have authority over a man, but to be in silence. Now, a couple of things. First of all, he didn't say I don't permit a woman to teach at all. He said over a man. That's kind of different than at all. And she's not to have authority either, but instead she's to be, and here we come back with that idea of in a quiet, submissive demeanor. So then he explains why when he says, for Adam was formed first, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived fell into transgression. So two reasons he has. One is the order of creation. Yeah. He says that gives some kind of order to who's in charge. By God's rule, not mine, or not Paul's either, for that matter. And then, here's the odd one. Adam was not deceived. Now, you don't want a leader who's easily deceived. Yeah. But on the other hand, what does it say about a leader who's going in with his eyes wide open? He does it anyway. Mm-hmm. So that verse is kind of, to me, more derogatory toward men than it is women. Yeah. And then verse 15, nevertheless she'll be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with self-control. And I think probably childbearing there is a synecdoche for all our work at home. Yeah. It'd be all kinds of things. So that's a rundown of the passage. Now, what kind of good ideas do you get out of that?